the show, we're going to be talking to Sir Lenny Henry. That's right, he's coming in for a chat. Looking forward to that. More of your shout outs, you know where we are, 88291. 08000 288 291 on the WhatsApp as well. And let's not forget, someone will be picking their own playlist. All that coming up very, very soon on BBC Radio 2. We are on your Sounds app, on your smart speaker, if you've got one of them, and on 88 to 91 FM.
BBC News at 8 o'clock on Monday the 17th of October. Good morning, this is Claire Runacres. The new Chancellor is fast-tracking his tax and spending plans, which are being brought forward to today to try to calm the markets. The head of the Met Police says hundreds of his officers should be sacked after a review found some had been getting away with criminal behaviour, and the Scottish Government is to make its economic case for independence. The Chancellor is bringing forward his budget statement to today, 2 weeks earlier than expected. In a statement to Parliament, Jeremy Hunt will set out many billions of pounds worth of tax and spending measures from his plan to balance the books. Markets are reopening in the UK this morning without support from the Bank of England's emergency purchases of government borrowing. Our chief political correspondent, Nick Eardley, says the government has fast-tracked its announcement to try to calm the markets.
I think there's a fairly high likelihood that the plan to reduce income tax next year will be scrapped. That 1 penny off the basic rate of income tax has been hovering over the shredder all weekend. The cut to national insurance, I think, will still go ahead, partly for the simple reason that it's already going through Parliament. But the bigger picture here is the mini budget is pretty much in the shredder. Liz Truss's economic strategy has been almost completely junked.
Liz Truss is to hold a reception for her cabinet this evening, and she'll also speak to Conservative MPs from the centrist One Nation group as she seeks to shore up her position. 3 Tory backbenchers have already called for her to go. Labour's Shadow Chief Secretary to the Treasury, Pat McFadden, said that Mr Hunt's statement demonstrated the chaos caused by Liz Truss as Prime Minister.
I think it's evidence of the panic that the government's in and the damage that's been caused over the past few weeks. Clearly, ministers are now terrified of market reaction. They've concluded that they cannot wait until the 31st of October.
The Commissioner of the Metropolitan Police, Sir Mark Rowley, has said hundreds of his officers should be sacked after a review found many members of staff were getting away with criminal behaviour. Sir Mark, who took up his post last month, apologised to the public and the honest and dedicated officers that, he said, had been let down. Lady Casey, who was commissioned to look at the force's internal misconduct system after the murder of Sarah Everard by a serving officer, says there needs to be radical change.
The fact is, we have to get the internal misconduct system right. We have to be able to be proud of every single man and woman who wears that uniform. And in order to do that, please accept what I'm saying here today.
Explosions have been heard in Ukraine's capital, Kiev. Officials say the city centre has been attacked by Russian kamikaze drones supplied by Iran. There's no information on casualties. The Scottish Government is to set out its plans for the economy in an independent Scotland. The First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, says independence will lead to a fairer, greener and wealthier country. The paper's being released as the Supreme Court considers whether Scotland can hold another independence referendum without the permission of Westminster. Katrina Renton reports.
The latest paper is expected to set out plans to establish a £20 billion infrastructure fund from remaining oil revenues and what is described as responsible borrowing. It will also propose that an independent Scotland would seek to rejoin the European Union, redesign the energy market and introduce a new migration policy. The First Minister, Nicola Sturgeon, said Scotland had everything it took to be just as successful as comparable independent European countries. She said the UK economic model was increasingly holding Scotland back. The UK government said this was simply not the time to be talking about another referendum.
Campaigners are warning that the government is running out of time to equip the NHS with a drug that could protect some vulnerable people against COVID-19 this winter. The drug, Evusheld, delivers manufactured antibodies and was approved by the UK medicines regulator in March. It's already available in more than 30 countries, but the Department of Health says more research is needed before it commits to purchasing it. Football, and Liverpool says they're investigating after the Manchester City manager Pep Guardiola claimed coins were thrown at him from the crowd at Anfield when the two teams played each other yesterday. The home side said any such behaviour wouldn't be tolerated. Liverpool also condemned what they described as vile chanting at the match from the away end, which referenced football stadium tragedies. The weather, rain will linger across the far north of Scotland and the southeast of England this morning. There'll also be some showers across parts of Northern Ireland and the northwest of England. Largely dry elsewhere. Top temperatures of 13 Celsius in Edinburgh, 14 in Belfast, 17 in Cardiff and 19 in London. BBC News, it's 8:05.
Listen live on the BBC Sounds app. The Radio 2 Breakfast Show with Vernon Kay.